Hi, my name is Mathew Nagendran, and I am an artist. I'm originally from Toronto, Ontario. I would say I've been an artist my entire life, though a shift towards a career as a painter really did coincide with my move to Kingston in 2017, where I now maintain my studio practice. I identify as a contemporary figurative artist, and what that means is my work centers on the complexity of human expression, usually through the physicality of a human form in my work or through the representation of emotion. I like to highlight the tensions that can be found in the world, for example, between beauty and pain, warmth and loneliness, and the longing for the future and the past. And by doing this, I try to highlight both the triumphs and challenges of being human. I've always gravitated towards the figurative avenues of creating art just because perhaps it's the easiest way for me to explore the world around me. And I'm not the most social person, so perhaps this was my mode of communication or the best way I could express myself. This show, entitled The History of Another Person, to me reflects my search for specific moments from my life that have been lost in time. After I completed my master's in public health, I did move back to Toronto, but over the course of I think 6 months, I had to decide whether I'm going to pursue a career in public health or jump in with both feet and become an artist. And I decided to move here to live with Casey and become an artist. Growing up, I wasn't really surrounded by a lot of art. I was always taught perhaps that we had to pursue a more practical avenue in life, but that never really stopped me from being that kid that doodled or tried to copy what he saw on TV or what he saw in the world around him. After a couple years pursuing a science background, and I thought about going to medical school, but I convinced my parents that wasn't for me, and then I did my master's in public health, and then something still didn't feel right because I knew there was something else I wanted to do. And meeting Casey, my partner, she was very supportive of my decision to be an artist, so it really did give me the confidence once I moved here. The way I approach a new piece is to first and foremost create a line drawing, and from there I usually tone my canvas or my support because nothing kills the potential for a piece like a blank white canvas. I like knowing that I can control the lights and the darks. I don't really want my support to dictate how bright my work can be. From there, when I am using a more mixed media approach, I tend to do my colored pencil work. And after that's done, I then paint around it with acrylics. I suppose the use of acrylics in the background was kind of a way for me to start delving into the world of paint a little more, because while I was happy with my mixed media approach, I always felt like my work could be more vibrant and more rich, and that could only really be found in the medium of paint. For a long time, I viewed myself as maybe a drawer more than a painter. Painting never really came naturally to me. Even now, I would say I'm someone that draws with paint, perhaps. I don't really use the largest brushes available to me. I use pretty small brushes. But yeah, acrylics, learning about acrylics here especially was a great opportunity because it allowed me to translate my skills that I had with drawing into the medium of paint. And my mediums of choice tend to be the high viscosity acrylic paint, just because they're buttery and smooth, so it lends itself perfectly to expressive brush strokes, but tight rendering as well. And when applied thickly, it's great for creating texture also. Over the course of several months, I noted down memories as they occurred to me in this fashion before I forgot them, and I turned them into paintings. And the process of doing this was very rewarding. It was almost like a meditative process because I was able to finally visualize in a body of work all these memories that for a long time I didn't think about. And being able to show this body of work in such a beautiful space, it feels amazing, and I'm truly grateful for the opportunity. The piece entitled Knox, actually, the thought came to me to create this piece because one day I was observing morning sunshine filtering through my living room window, and I suddenly remembered a specific moment from my undergrad at the University of Toronto, where with a friend we were walking towards the Knox College corridor, having spent a couple hours studying at Capen Library, which was my favorite library on campus. And in the moment, I remember being struck by how beautiful the corridor looked with the sunshine passing through the cloistered windows. So when the memory did come back to me, I knew I had to capture it in the form of a painting because I didn't know whether I would forget it. So while there are times where I do take a snap of something I think is pretty, it's never really an issue about copying exactly what I see. It's about using that to inform what I remember about where I was or who I was with. I have shown with other galleries before, usually as a part of group shows, and this is in fact my first solo show. It feels amazing being able to share my work in this beautiful space. This body of work was heavily informed by the concept or idea of involuntary memory. That is, memories that occur spontaneously as a result of sensory cues encountered in everyday life, such as the sense of smell, which in turn trigger very specific recollections from our past without conscious effort. With this series, it is my hope to recapture and preserve specific moments from my life that have been lost, but I also am hoping that these finished paintings may serve as cues or triggers that will elicit a similar response in the viewer, because I find these involuntary memories, while so detailed and emotionally rich, are easily forgotten, and perhaps these paintings may serve as a cue or a discussion point for people to remember specific moments from their own lives. Being able to share this body of work with others is deeply meaningful to me because these are moments from my life that are very important to me, a lot of these paintings. And it's not easy to perhaps talk about them openly with others, but perhaps in the medium of visual art, it can translate a lot more easily. It was a hard couple months getting this work together, and it took work, and it feels very, very nice knowing that I get to share it with people and we get to celebrate this effort.